Last month, West Ham remembered club legend Bobby Moore at the London Stadium, mourning the World Cup winner 25 years after his death. Former teammate and striker Brian Deere sat down exclusively with me and recollected his memories of Bobby Moore, Martin Peters and Geoff Hurst before and after England's maiden World Cup victory, and spoke of how he still holds Moore in such high esteem.
Yeah, I had some great times, and of course I played with the three boys, didn't I, with Martin and Geoff and Bobby, of course. 3 years, they were amazing. Not so much Bob, because he was quite in the England setup then, but for Geoff and Martin, you know, within 18 months before the cup final, the World Cup, they were really on the periphery of it all, and to make that, you know, make them places their own, and score the 4 goals between them, and you know, I mean, Geoff and Bobby went 3 times up the steps at Wembley in 3 seasons. Martin went up twice because he was left out of the FA Cup final halfway through the season. Couldn't get back in the side, but they were all great. I mean, Martin, I played a lot of schoolboy football with and against Martin. Geoff, I played, you know, but the special one, of course, was Bobby. I mean, he was quite an amazing man and player. You know, they'll be talking about him forever. He never complained. He never moaned. When he played, he was a magnificent player, set by example. Never screamed or shouted or hollered at people. You know, people done their best. If you'd done your best for Bob, that was okay. But you know, to 90 caps for England as captain, 108 altogether is quite a feat. But he was a great fella on and off the pitch. You know, very little is said bad about Bobby Moore. You know, people had their ideas of him because he was quite a shy person, Bob. But once he got into the conversation with you, and you know, he knew what you were about. He was great. He was great company to be with. I loved it because I used to be out with him quite a lot, and I've been to some fantastic places with him. Wouldn't have gone there without him. So yeah, it was a good time, West Ham. You know, I couldn't have gone to a better club.
After 25 years, to hear from Deere about what Bobby Moore was like and to hear how well respected he was as captain shows how much of a professional the defender was. The striker clearly looked up to his captain, and the love for Bobby Moore by the club and its fan base will last multiple lifetimes. In the 2 games since the remembrance of Bobby Moore, West Ham have secured a 3-0 victory against Southampton and also a draw against current Premier League champions Chelsea.
Over the past few months, Dagenham Redbridge Football Club have been going through a tough situation. There has been a struggle to maintain the club's professional status after major shareholder Glenn Hopkin pulled his backing. Despite this, the Daggers have continued to play their hearts out on a regular basis, and, after the big names were sold to generate profits, Dagenham's youth players have taken centre stage. At the centre of this is 21-year-old Mason Bloomfield. The striker has been at the forefront of Dagenham's attacking line since February and has cemented his place over the past few months. After Dagenham's 2-0 victory over AFC Fylde, Bloomfield stated that his game time has been frustrating, especially since the competition for places got amped up, but wants to finish the season off strongly with Dagenham.
Obviously, as a player, you always want to play more. Obviously, it's up to him to decide when he thinks I'm ready. I felt like I could have played more, but you know, I should be getting a good run of games towards the end of the season anyway. Literally just to finish the season off as strong. I think we can still make playoffs. So if we do that, we're great, and that's what I'm just trying to do. You know what I mean? It's tough. It is tough because obviously someone's always breathing down your neck. All it takes is an injury or, you know, a really bad game, and might change it around. But I'm just trying to stay consistent.
Healthy competition.
Yeah. So it is definitely.
As a young player, game time is so important in regards to developing your game. As it stands, Bloomfield is getting plenty. With only a handful of games remaining this season, the striker will be looking to get on the scoresheet as much as possible as the Daggers attempt to get into the playoffs. After a difficult January transfer window, Dagenham have struggled for consistency. However, a bonus since the turn of the year has been the standout performances of winger Fajiri Okunabiri. Oknabiri stated that his goals have been down to the team dynamic and that it's not solely his input. He also hailed manager John Still for the amount of opportunities young players get under his management.
I think it's more of a collective effort, like there's obviously with the situation going on, a lot of players leaving. I think it's all down to all of us to step up, which we have. I think every game we played since it's come out, the situation of the club, I think we've given it all. Every player's really stepped in, and I think obviously it's a bonus to be scoring goals, which I'm happy about. So hopefully I can just keep contributing to the team. Yeah, no, you have to give a lot of credit to the gaffer. He does give young players opportunities, especially myself. I've played a lot in the last 2 seasons. I've been here coming up to 2 seasons, and yeah, I'm happy with how I'm progressing. I think I've improved each year, and so I have to give thanks to the gaffer, and as do all the other players, and we're just trying our best to make a good start to our careers.
As the season draws to a close, Dagenham's eyes will be on finishing the season strongly, and with an outside chance of gaining a playoff place, there will be more chances for the 22-year-old Oknabiri to add to his tally of 10 goals this season. After UEL men's basketball second team's emphatic 81-61 victory over Royal Holloway in the quarter-final of the Cup, second team captain Dom Stevens spoke of his surprise after the 20-point victory and praised the referees of how they handled the opposition's frustrations.
Definitely didn't expect to win by 20 points. It was a good win from us all the same. We had a bit of a sloppy first half, but definitely pulled it back and played the basketball that we want to play second half, so that's good. Bit of a shame in how it ended with the referees and their team, but I mean, the referees did a good job, so yeah, all credit to them.
Stevens was quick to highlight Matthew McCoy-McIntosh and praised how he and other new additions are crucial to the team.
Matt is very important to our team. Obviously, his second year, so he's still got another year here. Came from a strong basketball background before he came, so we've really been able to use him, help him. Well, he's helped our team massively. So yeah, we rely on these players, big, strong players, to help us through for a lot of the games, and they help in training, and their aim basically is to make the rest of us better. So yeah, no, really crucial.
When asked about his intercepting style of play, Stevens spoke of how a discussion with coach Marvin Addy led to his new role.
I spoke to coach at the beginning of the season, and we kind of discussed that my role in the team as what he calls a veteran. My role in the team is to slow the pace of the game down and kind of keep it under control. So when I come on the court, it's usually at times that just before we're rushing the ball, we need somebody to slow down, get rebounds, get interceptions. So yeah, no, that's really what I'm there to do.
The victory saw UEL secure a place in the semi-finals of the Cup. 2 more victories and continued success in the league could mean a double for the men's second team. UEL men's second team maintained their strong record at Sportstock with a 71-53 victory over City University London. The win meant that UEL finished the season with a 100% win record on home soil. After the game, second team coach Marvin Addy spoke of his pleasure to go the whole season unbeaten at home.
Overall, I'm very pleased. I think we've had some key injuries, players missing throughout, I think, nearly every single game, but the boys have found a way to win, whether it be a cup game or an away game with 7 players, or a key point guard's missing and power forwards missing, whatever. They just find a way to win, which I'm really proud of.
Addy was happy with this side's result, but was hesitant to praise the whole performance as he suspected City were scouting them for the cup final next week.
I think we started out very well. That team, I think their whole game plan today, I don't really think they cared what the result was. I think they were scouting us for next week's game. They played man defence in the first half, which they can't really do against us, which is why we had such a big lead. And then they went zone and they kind of slowed us down. And we didn't do a good job of making them come out of the zone. We kind of made a few bad decisions, some bad passes, some rush passes, panicked a little bit when we didn't need to. But we finished the game strong, which I was happy about.
Addy conceded that his side need to be wary of City when they face them in the cup final, and that he was expecting a tougher fixture.
I think they're going to play more zone. I think they're going to have their full squad. They've had a few key players missing. I think they're going to go back to City and watch this game, maybe watch a previous game to see what we do.
When asked on how he would prepare for the cup final, Addy stated,
I don't want to give too much away, but we'll also go back to the film room. We'll watch what they do, and we'll watch how they play their zone, and we'll try and find the gaps to try and break it down.
UEL men's second team have the potential to win 2 trophies this season, starting with the cup next week. In a few weeks' time, they face the University of Greenwich. Upon victory, they would secure a league and cup double.